I'm gonna say it's a unique product in this category for me that I haven't really experienced. I'm trying to think if there is another one that this compares to. Thanks so much for joining me for this Get Ready With Me. I've got a lot of new makeup here. So I picked some things up from Dior, got Charlotte Tilbury. I also have an Hermes palette I've yet to feature and use. We're also in the middle of a wear test, almost 2 hours into wear right now, with a product that claims to have 24-hour wear time. So let's go ahead and get started. Cleaned the room, and I knew it was not centered. Okay, let me see. How can we, let me just move these things. No, that's still off, isn't it? Let's go in with concealer first, and then we're gonna try a lot of different things because I have some products I haven't used in a while, and they're products I haven't used yet that I've had for a while. So let's go in with the eye concealer first, and it's earlier in the morning. And the palette I'm gonna use fell. Part of it broke, hold on. So it's one of those refills, this one, and it fell out. So I did not secure it enough. They come out as well. So a couple popped out, and then chunks of this metallic popped out. I have a very hard floor. It's like a polished concrete floor, so everything breaks. So I'm not surprised. These two stayed intact. This one, let me just push this in just to make sure that it doesn't fall out, but chunks of the more metallic shades popped off. Where was I? Okay, concealer, because I want to do really, really light foundation. I did play with this foundation last night. That's how excited I get about new foundations. I mean, I don't love foundation, but I get excited that maybe the technology is different and I'll get a better result. I really just love concealer where needed, and then like a little finishing powder with a bit of glow just to make it look like skin. I love a more skin-like finish. Now this is looking a lot lighter on camera. I tried this last night, like I said, and I did have the same, like, this is very light look compared to the foundation. Then it kind of melded together somehow. So it might be more of a stark contrast like this initially, but then it really does blend in nicely. So it's one of those cases of trust the process. This initially looks like it's not going to work because the foundation is darker than I had wanted, but the shade I wanted was out of stock. Okay, I'm going in with this because someone asked me about this a long time ago. They wanted something different than the Clé de Peau that I use all the time for my dark spots. And this one is creamier, and I think I got a comment also that someone suggested this, and I have this. I haven't used it because I have combo skin, and this is not the best product for the inside of my face. So depending on your skin type, this might be better for drier skin types. It's got a similar consistency, but it's more hydrating. And the reason I'm using this is because the foundation you'll see here in a bit is also deeper. And I was trying to think of a concealer that was around the same kind of shade. I'm just gonna take a little, like just any brush here, and just kind of buff around the edges, just so it's not so stark, just to soften it a little bit. So I did a little bit of extra hydration with the, because I really love it that much, the Chantecaille Gold Cream, the Gold Intense, the new one. And I really hydrated well because my skin is being very unusually unpredictable, and I don't know if it's a change in the seasons. Trying to manage that a little bit with a little bit more hydration. I did pick this up, this Dior Forever Skin Perfect, and was really kind of surprised by it last night. So I'll give you my thoughts as soon as I apply this. But I thought, let me find a good foundation brush here. I applied this really lightly because I knew it was deeper than my shade. This is in the shade, oh, actually I took a swatch because I could not find 3N online anywhere to order. So I found 3.5 near me. So 3.5N is the deeper of the two shades you'll see. And then 3N is like almost more warm and lighter, of course. So I love these BK Beauty brushes for foundation because they're a little bit like looser. So if I want something more diffused and a lighter layer, I'm pulling for those BK Beauty brushes. I honestly just pick what looks good, but let me find an actual foundation brush that's designated for foundation. So, oh, I did use the 107. Is that for foundation? I mean, I used it for foundation. Blush or contour or multi-use. I just look at the shape and I look at the density of a brush when I use them. 106 might be nice. So here's a 106. Now this is a little bit denser than I want. Like I used the 107, which is not as dense. It's a flat one. It says for blush, this one, for blush and for, you can see it's looser. I mean, maybe let's do this because I use this and this is denser. Let's use the 107 because it worked really nicely. And I wanted something diffused, lightweight, second skin-like, and this worked really well. Again, because it is, I knew it was gonna be too deep, so I didn't wanna go in too densely with it. So then I just went like this first because I knew I could see really quickly how deep this was gonna be. And I feel like this is more of that, like Chanel makeup artist kind of application where it's very, very light. Like Chanel loves very natural looking skin, natural looking finish. And I'm gonna do half first because then you'll see the difference because it's so skin-like that I couldn't even tell that I had product on. The only reason I could tell is because there was a little bit of color. So if that gives you an idea of my initial impression of this. Okay, so there we are. Foundation, no foundation. So let me lean in because this has makeup and this does not have makeup. But you can see the finish and it dries down. So sometimes when I get this finish on more combo skin, it doesn't dry down and it feels like you can feel it on your skin. This feels like my skin. So that's how lightly I'm going to go in. Again, because of the color, if I went in densely with this, just gonna be too dark. But I think that this is one of those cases where the problem being that it's too dark was actually a way to really nice solution for me because I don't love foundation. I don't love when I can feel foundation or if I can see foundation on my face. I just want to see the result. I did not explain this. I did not conceal this because I want to do a wear test today showing how this wears over time. So I wore this for a few hours last night and I wanted to see what it was like for a longer amount of time. But I think just like the slightest, lightest layer. And then let's build this up a little bit right here, this dark spot. Just to show you, I'm gonna leave that as is because it does have an impact on how it looks. Let me do a little bit of Tom Ford. Also, you can apply this Tom Ford over foundation. So you can see these actually work really well. This is the Tom Ford Traceless Soft Matte Concealer in 4WO Hazel. And so then I'm just going to stipple it. I can definitely see there is more moisture here, hydration, I should say, than say the Clé de Peau. Like Clé de Peau sticks really well for me on that spot, but these two work really nicely. And then again, no concealer. I prefer no concealer on this finish, but if you have to add concealer, I just wanted to show you what it looks like. I wore this with no concealer. I had my spots show through a little bit, but I think that's fine. Okay, so this is again in this shade, did I say? This is in the shade 3.5N. So it looks a little like dark for me. That swatch definitely looked dark and I would have gone with 3N if I had it. But now I feel like maybe 3.5 is good, but I just have to be really careful about not adding too much. Now let's move on to the bronzer. This is the bronzer and I actually swatched all the bronzers for you because I thought tan looked good for me because it had a warmer tone to it, but then the other ones looked like they had really cool tones to it. So I can't remember which one is next to tan, but the next deeper one, not the light, but the next one would be great contour, but I wanted a bronzer. So we're going to use the same, actually I think this is what it's intended for. The 107 is intended for bronzer because it's got this shape to it. Flatter here and then more narrow. So I'm going to take this and just brush it on. Actually, that's not how I did it. I went like this. And then you can see the shade too. So if you want a warmer bronzer, this is a pretty warm one compared to other bronzers I've tried, which can be difficult for if you have my type of skin tone because they tend to be more red toned or more gray toned as in a contour. But if you strictly want like a bronzer, then this is really nice. Like I went above. Oh, let's do that today. I'll use it as a bronzer should actually be intended to use, which is as if the sun hit right across here. So let me do this exterior as normal. I mean, probably don't need to do this if I'm going to go on the bridge of the nose, but like, look how pretty that finishes. I think I've had an experience with foundation quite like this in the recent past or ever. It actually makes me think that this was created by a different certain company that I love. Like, I'm surprised they don't have a product like this, and that would be Chantecaille. It reminds me of like a Chantecaille type product because it's so skin, and Chanel also as a skin beautifying, skin enhancing kind of product. Okay, now that we've got that on, so we can see like it's so, these two together, very natural looking, but now I'm looking a little tan. I'm gonna go across as if the sun hits. So the best way again is not to go directly on because I think that's too intense, at least for me. I'm just going to brush across the bridge of the nose. So like, looks like I had sun right there. And then right here, just to cross the bridge. And then the tops of the cheekbones, my forehead, my chin. Very, very natural. Just been in the sun kind of makeup. So what I'm going to do is I'm gonna add brows now, and I'm going to add brows with something that I don't normally do, because when I looked at this palette, I thought this looks like a perfect brow color. This brownish tone. This is the Hermes Palette in 06. You can pop these in and out of the cases. So this is actually one of the refills I purchased because now I have all of them. I have all of the Hermes palettes. No, I've had them, but this is finally the one I'm using that I haven't used in a while. And so that looks like a brow color. Really great brow color for me. So I have all of the palettes, including the fall palette. So let me know if you would like me to do a ranking of them. I think this is actually the hardest one to use because there isn't a lighter, more satiny shade. The lightest, two lightest shades here are both this metallic finish. And so I feel like that is kind of tricky to work with. We're gonna go through this in phases here a little bit. I think to match the blushes I'm working with as well. But this, like, this looks like skin to me. This finish, yeah, looks like skin. I thought this was going to be more like the Tom Ford foundation stick. That one's really creamy and a little bit like on the thicker side. I mean, I know you can thin that out as well. I thought it was gonna perform like that, but this one is different. I have not read the description on this foundation yet. I kind of wanted to try it, get my own impression, and then we'll read the claims and I'll let you know if it's anything that I agree with. I mean, I still think the Chanel brow product in 03 is still the best powder type product for brows, but I thought in case you wanted to just see if you were curious how this might look as a brow product. Okay, this might take a minute, usually does. Okay, let's go in with a brow product I haven't used in a while since we're on Dior. Yeah, it looks like I've been kissed by the sun there, right there. This is the Diorshow Onset Brow in 032. Okay, I have this little, it's one of the sets available at Sephora, and actually they sent this to me to try. Okay. Okay, there's a little clump there, but we'll fix that in a bit. Just want it to dry. You know what, let's go in with blush first because I want to build. And also, let me get the cap for this before I forget. It fell on the floor. Yeah, easy to travel with as well because this is a stick foundation and this is a stick bronzer. Let me know if you want me to compare these stick bronzers. I have a Westman Atelier. I've got, what else do I have that's a stick bronzer? Let me know because also this was in the bag. So let me know what you want me to compare because this is coming up soon and maybe a comparison might be nice of some products. Let me know what you have questions about. I can compare different products like Westman Atelier, Dior versus something. Like I can do side by sides, so let me know. But give me your ideas so that I can build that in a way that makes sense and is helpful. Let's go in with blush and we're gonna try out, okay, I've been trying liquid blush products out. So this is the box that comes in. It's the mini blush and luminize trio, and I have not tried Rare Beauty. Well, actually, I just tried it this morning because I wanted to kind of experiment before I went in, but I unboxed this. And there are 3 little blushes in here. I want to show you all of them because I feel like this product works really well with this foundation because it dries down nicely and has a beautiful second skin-like finish. And I think they work really well together. Okay, let's go in with this BK Beauty 108 brush. And I'm just going to take this shade first. we'll put them both on. This is in Virtue. It's the peachier of the two. And you'll see how easy this is. So this is unlike the Hourglass. Actually, that might be an interesting one, like Hourglass versus like the YSL blush, or even, oh, this versus the YSL blush, let me know. So just took a little bit, just a little bit. I think putting it directly on the skin runs the risk of too much blush. So this is a really natural, I love this look. Just these few products on the skin, I think really pretty. So if you're looking for a very no makeup, I think this is very nice. Now that I've done that, I'm going to go in with eyes next. But I want you to see how pretty that looks, and then we'll go in, we'll add the other shade because I think this shade works better with the palette. But I think for no makeup, like this is actually how I would go out in the evening and then put a nice little lip on. Oh, speaking of lip, this, I have to say, I did not expect this packaging to, I thought it was gonna be smaller, and I also don't love, I don't love this packaging. The product, well, I'll talk about the product. I was persuaded to purchase this based on the images because it looked like the lines of the lips were smooth. This packaging is not, it's not something that appeals to me. It might appeal to you, which is fine, but most of the packaging I really like is very understated, like very simple. Like this is great. Like this is more my aesthetic, like this Dior right here. It's a different kind of aesthetic. So this one though, I wanted to try because it's a plumping. Like I also don't love how there's writing on it. Let's get past the packaging. It's supposed to smooth over. I don't really need plumping, but I would like some, because I have lines here in my lips. So I would like some smoothing. So let me just do the bottom. This is, oh, there are two shades. And I picked something lighter, fair medium. So it's very much the, like the center of my lip shade. Lip does have that minty sensation. If you like it or don't like it, it has that. But I can't say, I mean, let's watch for a little bit, but I can't say it really smoothed over my lips. This foundation, I applied it like a half an hour ago. At this point, I'm going really slowly this morning. So it's about, can you see? It's about 10:15 now, so like 9:45. So let's see how long we can wear this. Okay, since this is a little bit of a tricky palette to use, I'm going to use this shade, that lightest shade. First, let's go on the lid. So I've got a refer number 2. And just, so one of the things that I noticed with these Hermes palettes is even though they have metallic in their palettes, they don't look satiny, but they are more satiny than metallic in that the particles are not chunky. So this metallic is more of like a translucent. The particles are a little bit more distinct than say in a satin, but not as obvious as a typical metallic. Like it's not glittery particles, but there's definitely, you can see shimmer. Let's go in with the next color. Okay, it's a little challenging here for me. We're gonna go in with this brownish shade that I used for the brow. Really lightly, but it's a very cool brown. And I just did like the slightest bit because I don't want it to be too intense. Okay, I just noticed I need to break this brow up right here. It's too heavy. And then let's break this little bit up that was too intense. This I think is one of the hardest Hermes palettes to use. Okay. Then we've got this like very much a fall shade here. And I'm just going a little bit above that. So we're gonna add color further away from the eyes. I find that any reddish shade that I put near my eyelashes, or closer to my eyeball actually, that can tend to make me look a little bit ill. So the further away from my eyeball I can get with a red tone, I mean there's a bit of purple in here as well, the better for me. Now I'm gonna take this color because we wanna see all of them. That's right there. And I'm going to just apply it right on this outer half. That deepest brown color. I'm gonna wiggle it here in the external area. Now this is a refer number 14 mini. Coming together a bit. I mean, this is more makeup than I normally wear. Another mascara that I've used in the past, but I don't remember. This one from Too Faced, and it came in that advent calendar. Yeah, see, like this is feeling like a lot of makeup for me, but we'll take care of it in a little bit. This is Got an hourglass shape, the mascara wand. Yeah, this was in that Revolve advent calendar. That's so good. I haven't seen many other advent calendars that I like, but there's so many products in there. Like I took the Elemis cleanser with me. I took the Peter Thomas Roth cleanser with me. But if it does come back into stock, I will post about it. So if you're interested, it just has so many things that especially traveling. Oh, that doesn't look great. Especially traveling as much as we do, I like little travel sizes that are bigger than sample sizes. It's one coat. Okay, let me work on this and I'll tell you how many coats I have applied by the time I see you next time. I put about 3 coats of the mascara. Oh, I forgot. How could I forget? I need Trench and I need Clay de Peau. Actually, let's put, just take it into the corners there because my bangs are covering a lot of things. So let's just do that. And then put a little bit into the corner there. Now that we have a bit of that like burgundy shade, this I think is a better color for that. So this is in the shade Beloved, that color, which I think will be really pretty. Actually, I know it's really pretty because I tried it this morning. So I'm gonna add, again, using this brush to really thin it out because there's a little room for error here because it sets, it's a little bit of like a stain appearance almost. So kind of like watercolor in terms of painting, there's very little room for error. Once it's there, you can't really mess with it too much. Skin-like, very close to the skin kind of appearance. Again, almost like a stain. The blending, once it's set, isn't really something easy to do. I mean, you can always go over it with powders or whatever, but I think you lose the finish. And then let's go in with the luminizer. So this is in Enliven. It's like a really pretty peachy shade, which you wouldn't think goes with this color, but there it is. It does have a metallic element to it, but it's not chunky. I think I'm gonna film something so I can unbox it, and then I'll do the intro, which you'll see in a little bit, and then we'll do some check-ins too, but these are the shades. I think we're done, I think. Okay, let me do my unboxing and then I'll do the intro. Okay, I just filmed a whole section, maybe about 20 to 30 minutes of talking with no volume. So I am trying this again. I forgot to turn on the microphone when I was talking, but I unboxed the sweater. So that was one of the things I did in between here because now we're about almost 2 hours into wear time and from application of the foundation. And I unboxed this. So this is a cashmere sweater. I'll put a little shopping link down here for you, but this is in the shade something denim, like washed denim, some kind of denim. Hold on. This is the Mongolian Cashmere Oversized Boyfriend Cardigan Sweater, and this is in the shade Faded Denim. If you like this blue, it's really pretty. At the YouTube event, they provided us with gift cards, so I was able to purchase this with a gift card. So thank you so much for the gift card. But I'm also considering the other shade in Oatmeal, which is really pretty. I love cardigans, and this has a lovely rib knit. It's like a heavier weight cashmere, and I love blue. I love cardigans, I love cashmere, and the buttons on this, I'll show you, they're gray. So I like that they are cooler toned. Yeah, so the other one definitely would be the Oatmeal shade. The ivory is a little bit like on a yellowy tone for me, a little bit too yellow. If it was more of like a cool white, I would like that. But those are my top colors. But it is really soft if you're wondering about it. This is a size medium, it's oversized. I think if I got a size large, it would be too bulky. So I think medium is a perfect size. And then the sleeves come to about here when my arms are straight. But back to the makeup. Okay, so lots of things happened when I was talking about the makeup, because I ended up applying because I read about it, and let's read it together because I was reading silently to myself. Nobody else could hear it. But the foundation, I wanted to read about its claims, and it's got 1.1 thousand reviews, which is a lot, and it's almost 5-star. It's like 4.5, and it says the product is a multi-use foundation stick for a natural blurred finish with up to 24 hours of wear and all-day hydration. And one of the things I noticed, I'll put the swatch in again of the foundation, you can see it kind of is like glistening in the light, which means it's got hydration to it. And I thought this was going to be one of those foundations that was going to slip and slide all over the surface of my skin, which can happen with more hydrating foundations. They don't set. They just kind of sit there and they move around on more combo skin like mine. So far, I have not noticed that. And it is, I'm gonna say it's a unique product in this category for me that I haven't really experienced. I'm trying to think if there is another one that this compares to. And so far I can't get a grasp on something that it reminds me of. But it does say it's buildable. It glides on smoothly, evening out your complexion and eliminating imperfections in a single swipe. So this product, the intent is to apply it directly on the skin, which I did not because I thought it would be too heavy. I thought it would be too makeup-y looking, which is why I went in with a brush, and also I knew the shade was a little bit deep for me, so that's why I wanted a thin layer. Heat and humidity resistant, has a blurring filter effect, and can be used as a foundation or concealer for touch-ups on the go. So whenever I read blurring filter, it makes me think there are, and I don't know if there are, but typically there are like spherical, like powder elements in there that reflect the light in a really soft way. I don't know if that's part of the composition of this, but that's what I love in a foundation, is when it has that more of a powder component and spherical particles that reflect the light in a really soft way. Those are the kinds of foundations I typically like. It says to apply to your cheeks, nose, forehead, chin with a flat part of the oval, and then blend with your fingertips or a brush, which I used a brush to apply with. And then you can use this as a concealer. So the part you didn't see is I applied it as a concealer right here on the front of my face, on top of this other concealer and on top of this spot. So I'm gonna show you just a little clip of that because hopefully I demoed that okay, but you're able to see that I just applied. And then I went on top of that with the blush, with a smaller brush, and just targeted that because I think the blush has a really nice finish. So on one side, I just applied it directly, but on the other side, I blended two of the shades, the lighter and the deeper shade of the blush. I mixed them on my hand and then I applied it to this side of my face where I had a little bit of concealer already. So that's what I did to get here. So let me lean in, or I think I probably leaned in the other one, but this is what it looks like now. So there's a little touch up that I did, and it didn't need to be fixed. I just wanted to see if I could use it as a concealer. Oh, I also took, I forgot to mention, I'll put the clip here. I also tried to even out the under eye area because it was still looking a little bit lighter than the rest of my face. I took some of the foundation and also added it to the under eye area. So that's where we are with that. I don't love the lip product, I have to say. The packaging is not my favorite. And then also it's a temporary lip plumping, which is to be expected, but it looks nice on like initial application, and then after, I don't know, like 30 minutes, it kind of is just like any other lip gloss. Pictures show very, very smooth lip surface, and it's not, I didn't get that. It's fine if you like plumping, and if you like Charlotte Tilbury, I think it's okay. It's not something I would necessarily pull for, but I'm glad I tried it. Oh yeah, one more thing. This is the advent calendar I mentioned, the one that I think is, sorry if it's not available, but I don't think it's available. And if it does become available, I will of course share because I think it's actually quite nice. Taking some things out, that's where I got the mascara from, but this is what the interior looks like. I'm gonna go ahead and edit this part of the video, and then hopefully this will go up tomorrow because I wanna share the information about this, because this, like I said, is coming up. So if you were considering this foundation, hopefully I can give you some information about this so that you can definitely save if you are part of their, what is it called this? You've got to be a beauty insider, some sort, either Rouge, VIB, or Insider. I'm gonna edit and then I'll see you for a check-in in a little bit. Okay, it is now, taking off my rings because I was doing some dishes, made some lunch, and did some chores. It is almost 3:30, so we are approximately almost 6 hours into wear. So like 5 hours and 45 minutes into wear. So I think I did the math right. So let's take a look. I have not touched anything up. My eyes are a little bit red here. Like the shiny factor was here when I initially applied it. So that reminds me of the Water Fresh tint by Chanel. So that's the closest finish I can think of versus something satiny like the Chantecaille's, not Water Fresh, Chantecaille's Future Skin Cushion has a lovely satiny glow to it, but it's not shiny like this. This is just a tad shinier than skin-like finish, although I have to say my skin, when it's clean, it has a shininess to it, so it's more of my natural skin texture. But no, there is zero settling into any of these creases, and that's where I will usually see if anything's gonna happen is right here. So I'm leaning in very closely. Hello. Let me just do this to the under eye area. And then in the under eye area, you can see we didn't get any extra creasing because I added it on top of that. Oh, it was the Westman Atelier. Sorry, I don't think I said what I used. I wanted to grab something because I noticed my dark spots look lighter even today than they have in the past. So I'm gonna grab what I'm using because I changed it up a little bit, and also show you the gold cream I was talking about. And let me see if I can find the concealer, but looking really good at about 6 hours. Okay, so I found the concealer. Wait, first let me just show you. This is the gold cream that I went in with, the Chantecaille that I was talking about. And it looks like this. It is on the more expensive side, but I haven't encountered a cream quite like this. It's really lovely. So I love the gold line. It's a 24 Gold Cream Intense. So I've been using this quite frequently, especially for the dehydrated surface of my skin. I am oily in the center, even though the surface can be dry. But I think, again, tretinoin has a lot to do with it. It does dry out my skin a little bit. So not a little bit, it does dry out my skin, like the surface of my skin. But the result is really nice. And then I've been going in with this. This is a newer one because the other one I took with me. So this is a backup. It's Dr. Idriss Major Fade Hyper Serum. So I'll use this in the day, and then I will use this one. So it's this one is made to instantly illuminate and also addresses dark spots, I think. Targets and treats discoloration and instantly illuminates. The other one I've been using at night is this one, but it's Remedy for Dark Spots, and this is by one of the doctors. I think it's just one of the doctors from Doctorly. If you watch their channel, I love their channel. They have a lot of great information, especially for hyperpigmentation. So this is Remedy for Dark Spots. It's a super stacked dark spot correcting treatment, and there's a little moon there because it's in the evening I apply it. When they talk stacked, it's all those ingredients that target dark spots. So I've seen a nice effect, and I've been using them for about maybe a week and a half right now. Then the concealer that I mentioned earlier is the Westman Atelier. I didn't show this, I don't think. In this color is is an M2. I don't know if I actually showed the foundation. So let me put this on, some of this on, just because I need some hydration. I mean, it looked back at the video because, like I said, I was editing in between here, and it looks nice. I mean, it looks nice. And I was thinking, like, what is this remind me of? It reminds me more of a skin tint almost. So I feel like Dior has entered the conversation. Is that how they say it? Dior has entered the conversation when it comes to enhancing and really beautifying skin without covering it up. I've not experienced that with the Dior foundations before. It was very foundation-y, and so there's a reason I didn't really use the ones that I picked up. I think I picked up 2 of them in 2 of the different finishes and 2 different shades, and I mixed them, and I think I decluttered them because I can't find them. You will let me know. I'm sure you'll remember. It was one of the days it was like a pretty brutal declutter. I was just throwing stuff. I don't even know if I remember to swatch. It might have been one of those days. But Dior right now is really appealing to me with this finish. This is it. I think I showed you like this, but this is the container, and that's what's nice about these wear tests. I can go back and look and see what I forgot to mention. So it looks like this, again, is in 3.5N. I think the undertone is correct. It's just slightly deep for me, but it adds some nice color. But I am curious about other shades. Let me know if you have a shade that is near this, close to this, or if you are BD41 like me and Chanel, what did you pick up? Did 3N work for you? I'd love to know. So the lids look similar on the top with that quilted pattern on the edge there, but then the bronzer is matte, and then this is like a shinier finish. And the bronzer, well, let's read about the bronzer because I don't think I did that. And I also realized I did not blend very well, and I had a little bit of brows stuck on there. So the colors that I showed you were in light, tan, medium, and deep. So light, they say contour for very light, tan contour for light to medium, although I'm gonna say that's more of a bronzer. And then the other ones say contour, contour. It says it's a hydrating contour stick that blends effortlessly, enhancing your complexion with a natural looking sculpted bronze effect. And that's for up to 24 hours. And you can see it still looks like I have that color. Then I put a lot on my nose there, I could see in the video. The finish is natural. Creamy, hydrating, long wearing formula blends seamlessly. Yeah, definitely easily blended, delivering a naturally sculpted effect in one step. It warms your complexion up, highlights shadowy areas. That's kind of funny, highlights shadowy areas, and lends striking definition to your facial contours for a customized look that withstands heat and humidity. So heat and humidity resistant. I can't say it's really hot or humid here right now, so I can't test that, but I can test for the wear time. But I really like the finish, it's beautiful. Maybe we'll go 9 hours because 3 hours from now will still be a decent time. Like if I go to 6:45, we'll be at 9 hours. So I will see you in a little bit. Okay, we are at almost 11 hours. Almost, I didn't expect to go this long, but we're 20 minutes shy of 11 hours. And we went out to dinner and I have not retouched my makeup at all or my hair. So let's take a close look. Let me just look really fast and I can point out some areas to you. It looks really good. So I also asked my husband if it was detectable. Like, could you see that this was makeup? And he said, no, it looks shiny. He did say it looked shiny, which is what I mentioned earlier, but he was not able to detect makeup on my face. So actually did better than the eyeshadow. Let me lean in. So you can see here, it looks really nice. But I do wonder if it rubbed off here, but it looks nice here. Like there's still some coverage here in the front and I did not retouch, like I said. The eyeshadow though, look, it creased. So I don't know what happened there. I don't usually wear metallic eyeshadows like on their own, so I don't know, but we had some smudging there. Also, there was a little transfer from the mascara. I didn't take a nap. I wanted to, but I did not take a nap. I just edited, I cleaned, and it still has not settled in here. So this is quite impressive. I'm wondering if I need to try another shade, so let me know about the other shades. Again, if you're close, let's go ahead and touch up and see what happens. So I've got the stick here and I just want to see how this goes. So I'm going to go directly on the skin because we did not do that earlier. Right, so that is the color, which looks, I mean, right now it looks okay. So now I'm applying it actually the way they said to apply it. So I'm going to put that there and then I'm just going to get the brush. And it's much easier to do this without setting than there isn't the powder to contend with. And so because this doesn't have a buildup or anything strange like that, it really can be reapplied pretty easily and refreshed, which is a great aspect for those people who go long days with makeup and have to have it look nice. Yeah, let me know about the shade match because now it's starting to look like it works. I don't know. Yeah, that looks really nice. So here we go, up close. It's not as shiny now as it was when I first applied it, which maybe had to do more with the skincare I prepped with, but it looks less shiny now. Like I said, I think Dior has entered the conversation. I don't know if that's a term, but I feel like it is. But they have entered the conversation in terms of the kinds of foundations I like, which are skin enhancing. They don't cover up the skin, they just enhance the natural beauty, which is what Chanel does, which is what Chantecaille does. And that's why I love those foundations so much. And the Hermes Palette also is along those lines in terms of enhancing the skin. That's what I think luxury beauty lines do that's distinct from other lines, is that really beautifying kind of foundation product that doesn't look like foundation, but just has beautiful results. So do let me know if you've had experience with any of these products, but especially this Dior foundation. I'm really curious to know. Please leave that in the comment section below. But that is it for today's video. So please take care of each other, stay well if you enjoyed this video. If you learned something, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and I will see you next time. I don't love when I can see foundation. I don't love when I can, what was I saying? 4W0 or O, Hazel. It's a traceless, soft matte foundation, no, stick, concealer. This is the, I haven't done this for like a week. This is a Tom Ford Traceless Soft Matte Concealer in the shade 4W0. Oh, Hazel. What? Now, let's move along to the concealer, not concealer. And that swatch definitely, which I was surprised about. I thought it was going to be more like the Tom Ford Traceless, the Tom Ford. Little one came in a set. Oh gosh. Why? This is the Dior on satin, but a little bit larger particles than a satin. What? Because I find that anything reddish that I put near my I think I just did the whole intro without volume. So let me redo it.